It has now been over a month since I discovered my lost forever world from 13 years ago, and I've just been having so much fun going around on my old world, my first world, and discovering all the things I used to do so many years ago. There's something so nice about having a world that's been around for so long. It makes it so much more motivating to continue to play Minecraft. Today we're going to be looking at a book I found that was lost to time, specifically a journal that has so much history in it and I didn't even know existed. This is one of those things that would have been gone from my memory forever if I have not actually found it to see it for myself and reawaken those memories. Also, we're going to take some time looking at our old builds in this world and seeing how we can upgrade them and modernize them to be more relevant toward the later versions of Minecraft, the latest version of Minecraft, because some of these builds are literally like 13 years old and they're a little dated and need some updating to be more useful in our world. So let's hop into it. I hope you enjoy. Hey everybody, this is Willie here. Welcome back to another episode of our forever world that was lost for 13 years. Now, if you were here last episode and you're wondering where my diamond armor is, I did not die with it. I did not lose it. I put it away. Between this episode and last episode, I looted more of the end cities. And my goodness, the loot you can find in the end cities is so unbelievably good. I have a full set of mending gear that I could use right now. And this is my armor chest. I have more in here. Yeah, I had to move it over here because I ran out of room. I stashed more armor over here, I think. It's ridiculous. There's so much. And what's even cool is even if you don't use these, you can de-grind them or use the grinder to disenchant them and get a bunch of levels back. Like, the loot is so unbelievably good. Tons of tools. Like, do you even need a farm anymore? Do you just loot in cities to get everything you need and just call it a day? Like, what the heck? Also, too, we got our maxed out pickaxes last episode. I am also keeping these in here most of the time because I'm very paranoid about losing these. We don't have an XP farm yet. So if I die and lose those, it's going to be really hard to get them back. The only reason why I was able to build those is because of the XP we got from slaying the Ender Dragon. And until I get XP farm, I'm going to be very cautious with bringing these out because I'd hate to like fall in lava and lose them in lava. That would suck. Either way, I didn't have a lot of time to play the last couple weeks, but I did get some resource gathering done. Just a little bit. I gathered some more wood. I did get some more shulker boxes from the raiding of the end cities. I decided to get some packed ice because, like, why not? I know I'm going to need this in the future for my redstone contraptions. This is our miscellaneous stuff. By the way, I made some bundles. I had no idea how good these things are. Like, these are amazing. Like, look at all this stuff I can just carry around with me now. Like the crafting table, the ender chest. This is stuff that would normally be clogging my inventory, but not anymore. Honestly, bundles is my favorite update I think Mojang has ever done. It's really helped with the inventory problems. It hasn't fully fixed the inventory issues, in my opinion, but it has made them a lot better. So what are the plans for today? I think what we're going to do is go ahead and update a lot of our build to the latest version of Minecraft. If you don't know, the last version I think I played in was... Actually, I forgot, but it was 2012, so a long time ago. Like, the end was like just added, or like the ender chest or something. Like, that's right around when I stopped playing. Last episode, we decided to update our character, which is really good. We have shulker boxes, we have our ender chest, which is absolutely awesome. So it's going to be much easier to move resources around and get to building. So I'm heading over here to our train station base. This was my first base ever in this world back in like, I don't know, 2010 or something. Super old. This is one of the first bases I want to update. But before we... I can't talk. But before we do this, we have something very, very important to go do. We're going to go to the nether over here. Why is it not working? Oh. Bugged out nether portals. That was probably I think that was the first nether portal I ever made. And some of the older nether portals, when you update the world, bug out like that. Anyway, if you watched a video where I went around in this world in spectator mode after I found it on my old MacBook laptop, there was a bunch of items here. And I guess I died here and never came back and picked up the items. And I just kept playing the game. But there was a book and quill here, and I want to pick it up and see what was inside it, because I think I know what it is. So we're going to hop over into a creative world. That's a copy of this world, but it's like backtracked all the way to when it was taken off the laptop originally, and not the latest version of this world. So I will be right back. Alrighty, we are back into the world originally how it was when I found it. I am going to, I guess, open the LAN here and allow cheats and go into creative mode. Do we have our bugged out skeletons? Oh, they are not bugged out. Interesting. By the way, if you guys don't know, if you want to fly faster, you can actually hit F3N to toggle to spectator mode, and you can use your scroll wheel to fly super fast by moving it up, and then you can move it down to slow back down again. I had no idea that was a thing for the longest time, and I always wondered how I could fly faster in creative, because honestly, flying in creative is kind of slow. My game is lagging. Okay, hold up. Okay. Here, why are you so fast? Okay, well, this is it. This is the stuff that was on the ground. Nothing too important. It looks like. It looks like I might even lost some stuff in the lava. I must have like fallen from up there. Maybe I was trying to grab that, or maybe I fell from here. I don't know. But this book and quill is what I need, and I actually checked it out already. What is inside this book and quill is a treasure. I totally forgot I had this. If you saw my other video where we went through this in spectator mode, I had a journal at my final base before I stopped playing the game 13 years ago. And it was like a journal of me documenting my journey. But it was pretty short. It was only like 2 pages long. This was the first one, and I thought I lost it. So I just continued it in a new book. But it was alive, laying right here on the ground the entire time. As I open this bad boy up, it is 12 pages. Now I'm going to fix the formatting here and go through it so you guys can read it if you want to. But just quickly, this book goes over my entire experience in the world. I talk about my first base, where I spawn. Basically every base I've ever worked on, I mention in this journal. It is a absolute treasure. So I'm going to go put this in a Word document, clean up the formatting. We had like this old formatting, I guess, updating the game. Like broke some of it, so I'm going to update that, then paste it into a new book in our new world, and I'll be right back so I can show it to you guys. Alrighty, that took a little bit of time, but I managed to get all the text and compiled it onto a new book here. Got rid of all the weird syntax errors or whatever, syntaxing code stuff they don't need to see. By the way, we got a new dog between this episode and the last one. I did post on the community what to name it. Our friend Eduardo suggested we name him Uno because he's our first dog. In 13 years, I think that's a fitting name. So once we get a name tag, we will go ahead and name him Uno. Anyway, here it is, all in one book. I'm not going to read through this, but I will go through the pages if you want to read it. Please excuse any spelling errors. I was very young. I can't spell today, and I definitely couldn't spell back when I was like 14 years old. So this is everything here. Going through this was very, very surreal to me. It's one of those things that would have been gone from my memory forever if I never found it. I'm also a little confused. There's some stuff I talk about in here. Specifically one thing, a small city. I don't know what this is about. Maybe it's my desert base. But I thought I did that later in my playthrough. I didn't know if it was base 3, but I don't know. Maybe there's some hidden city in my world that I don't know about. That would be quite something. But yeah, these are all the pages. I'll go through here. Feel free to pause and read it if you want to. I talk about every base in here. I didn't know I was a journaler. I had no idea. I didn't know I like to document my experiences here. What's funny about this is I'm writing it as if someone's going to find it and read it, even though this is a single player world, so no one would ever find this. I'm kind of seeing it as like an early history of this world. This is like an ancient text, early documentation of this world before it's been modified by me, the player, or at least the process of me going through and modifying things. I talk about things in mysterious ways, which I find kind of funny. Like I described Endermen as tall black figures that watch you from afar. So I guess I had a lot of fun doing this, so to speak. Talked about my first dog I found in here. which is actually a graveyard with him. I think his name was Jim. I don't know why I picked that name, but he did die. I'm very sad that animals in this game are still like really annoying and not programmed very well to just like, because dogs are a liability. This dog right here, actually, I died trying to bring him back because he's such a pain to manage, and I couldn't fly away from him and have him teleport to me, so I had to like walk him back because if the chunk unloads, he doesn't teleport to you if you leave it too fast. It's a real mess. I really wish Mojang would improve the AI for pets so they're more fun to have around. Um, as much as I love Uno, he'll probably be here forever because he is a huge liability to have around with you. Anyway, that is the book, and I'm going to sign it. I think I want to name it, I want to call it an original tale, but you actually don't get a lot of space to name the book, unfortunately. There we go. World's Origin, I think, is a fitting name for this. And I have just the place to store this. I built it years ago, and it finally has a purpose. I'll meet you over there. Oh, there it is. Okay, if you don't know, if you haven't seen the last couple episodes, this is one of my old builds. This whole area are old builds I did a long time ago. This is a ancient library I made. Now, it didn't have any use. I think I made it even before enchanting was a thing. Maybe? I assumed that because I don't have an enchantment table in here, and I probably would have made this such a thing if that was in the game. Like, I would have put an enchantment table in here. So this was just really just for looks. Just a bunch of books in here. But there's something at the top here that's very, very unique. Well, unique, that actually has a real use. Now, by the way, this is like a lounge room. I put a lotus flower on here. I'm a big fan of Chinese culture, and the lotus flower was influenced from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Here they are. This was like a roleplay thing where I stored like pretended that these were like all super valuable books. This right here, Silk Touch, yeah. This right here, this is the most valuable book in history. Now here's the thing. There was actually nothing of value in here. I think this was before enchanted books were even a thing. Because if I open this bad boy up, it's just a regular old book. But we actually have something that is perfect for this. This is the most valuable book in this world. And it's going to go right here. For the rest of time. Alrighty, let's move on. I'll see you guys back at the base. By the way, guys, before we get started, I wanted to show you this. There is a... There's one of these here in a river biome, a swamp biome. Very random. I actually have a lot of weird errors in this world. Back in the day, Mojang didn't keep backwards compatibility in mind very much. And I have a lot of weird biomes, like weird things like that. A lot of like chunk errors. And chunks will even be like the wrong biome. Like, for example, this is my snow base, and this is supposed to be a snow plains, but it's actually a forest biome. And if I go over here, it's taiga, beach, river, ocean, like taiga again. This is like all wrong. What's interesting about this is this snow is only going to be here once. Like, it'll never come back. Like, if it rains, it's going to rain. The rain doesn't melt the snow, but like I don't want to place torches around here anymore because like I need to preserve this land. Because if the snow melts, I won't come back. If it won't ever come back because it won't snow here. So I kind of want to preserve this stuff. Yeah, like tons of stuff like this in my world. It's kind of cool though. I like it. Shows it has history and it's been played on a lot in the past. Alrighty, so what exactly is the plan? Like I said, I do want to update some of these builds. I guess all the major builds in my world, at least most of the areas, to make it more modern, more useful. For example, we have like ladders in certain areas. Ladders are gross, they are slow. We want to replace those with bubble elevators. We want to make some of our buildings look a little more modern, more nice. But there is a rule I'm going to follow. Existing builds, I'm probably not going to change too much, at least most of the time, because these things have their history. I don't want to like completely rebuild, take them down and rebuild them. It would be, I don't know, like they have a special place in my heart. It's history in this world, so I don't want to necessarily completely rebuild everything. Um, but I am willing to modify them and update them and maybe make them a little bit cooler, like add on to them, I guess is what I'm saying. We'll add on to them. Maybe we can add like depth to this build. We can make it bigger. For example, my very first base, my train station / transit system, as ugly as this thing is, we're going to treat it as like an ancient structure and add things to it to enhance the build, but we're not going to just completely replace everything. As much as I would really want to replace a cobble or something, we're going to do something that makes it look a little bit more nice. Maybe like add supports to it because maybe it's old and it's going to like fall over. So we have like more modern supports holding it up. We're going to kind of approach these builds like this. I will say I am going to replace that dirt with something else because I can't believe I used dirt to build that section. But anyway, before we get started, I do need to gather a lot of resources. I have quite a few builds in mind for each of my major areas in our world here. We're going to get through them as fast as possible. We might not do them all in this episode. Really depends how much time it's going to take. But either way, I'm going to go grab a bunch of resources first, which might take me a little bit. So I'm just going to cut to that, and I'll see you over there. It might even be a new day for me. So I'll go ahead and get that done so we can start building. Alrighty, a new day it is, and not just a few days later, it is over a week later, so if my voice sounds different, that is why. Also, I am in a new apartment, so a lot has changed between the two clips. I went ahead and got cobblestone from a lot of my bases here. This should be enough. I want to use stone brick. And what I'm doing is making a furnace smelter because I was doing it by hand, as you saw with these ones. I know it's taking way too long, so I'm going to automate it real quick. So let me just do that. Alrighty, I got this auto smelter set up here. I was getting very tired of doing it by hand, as this is a lot of cobble to smelt. So I'd rather have it smelt itself so I can do other stuff. Don't worry about the hole in the ceiling. This is temporary. We're not leaving this here. I plan to redesign the space and enhance it later, so this is just going to be here in the meantime. But yeah, it's doing its trick pretty well. Just got to put all this in here. And I can go ahead and continue to work on other things while this does its trick. Send that off so we can have some more fuel in there. This is cool, but now I'm all out of iron. This is all I have left. Hoppers are extremely expensive. Anyway, I'm going to finish smelting all this, and I'm going to meet you over at the base that we're going to update after 13 years of not being updated. Alrighty, here we are at the base we will be updating today. If you don't know, this is my very first base I ever built on this world many of years ago. Now, as I was gathering resources, I wasn't just thinking about how we're going to change the look of the space, but I was also thinking about how are we going to keep its usefulness. We know this is a train station. We want to make sure it stays a train station and maybe some other useful things here. I'm usually pretty big on making something that has purpose. I rarely ever build things just to have something that looks cool. I also want to make sure it has a use. So we're going to update this to make sure it can function as a decent train station. And there's a lot of extra layers that I added here that I never used. I'm thinking one of these, we will simply have a storage room, a bulk storage room to be specific. Because this is kind of a central hub, and I was thinking, why not just have a storage room, maybe in this room, that has a lot of the boring things, but you need a place to put them, like cobble, dirt, glass, gravel. And it'll be kind of convenient to have that here in case I do need it, bounce it between all the different bases. And then we can use this top layer right here as room to actually make this a real station. So yeah, before we even start updating the look, I'm going to add some usefulness to the base real quick. It'll be pretty easy. I'll get started on that right now. So first things first, we're going to remove all of these. We have our old signs here. I am going to take them down. So read them while you can. They are going to be gone forever. Aha. And we'll place new ones down once we create a space here. Okay, first thing, we are going to move all of these to go in on one side. I think it'll look a little bit nicer and it'll be easy to deal with all of these in one spot. Okay, a little update here. I decided to move it down one layer and use this first floor as the space where it comes out and comes in, as it makes it a little bit easier to design all this and link it all together. Now, I had a pretty cool idea. Well, at least I think it's pretty cool. I decided, originally I just want to have a button that you press. Oh, or a series of buttons. But instead, we're actually going to use a book. And whatever page we select on the book will set up the right track for us to go. So we have 3 locations right now, or 3 tracks. So we just have 3 sections here in the book. And whatever page it is on this lectern. So page 1 is just default, it doesn't do anything. We actually have to press this to pull this back. There we go. Now it will work. You can see it has some power, but not enough. And then it's just lined up with the power. So if I select this, enchantment base, it's going to pick that one. You see that turns on, and as we go over, you can see them turn on until we have all of them selected. I just realized something. I have this backwards. So give me a moment. Okay, there we go. The way I designed this requires this to be on this side. Not as convenient, as this contraption can no longer be next to it, so I gotta run this wire that goes to this. If I was facing this way, I could have it compact with this design, but oh well. And all you do is you come over, you press the button. It should go down this one right here. And then we would go into it, we would hold forward. I just realized something. Okay, I needed to change this railroad setup. I had to move these over here and put this here. So what you do is you would put this up in, and voila, it works like a charm. And what this does is it locks it, meaning it stops the pulse coming from the book. Because when we come back, we want to make sure we always go back to there. If we don't turn these off, there might be a chance we'd loop around and go a different direction, depending on what base we came from. So this makes sure no matter which way we're coming back from, it will always go back to here, which Cactus takes it out, goes back in here, closed loop system, fills up the dispenser, or the dropper, whatever you call it, and it's good to go. Anyway, it should be all done, and it should all work fine, hopefully. This was very weird, surprisingly. Well, I'm not surprised, but this little setup here took me way too long to figure out. So I'm going to go ahead and cover all this up with half slabs so you don't see it all, and get back to you. So now that we have the functionality and the usefulness set up for this base here, we're now going to go work on upgrading the looks. Again, oh, what was that? Oh no. Oh no. Get away from me. Okay. Anyway, again, I don't want to modify it too much. We're going to try to enhance the look because we're going to keep the history behind making this, because it's an old build. It has a place in my heart, and I want to preserve the old stuff built in this world over a decade ago. So let's go get working on that. Okay, so first thing I'm going to work on what's been in my mind for way too long, which is using this, creating support for specifically this first. And then I think we're going to build outward. By the way, I noticed those guys earlier. I don't know why they're there or how they got there, but I think there's some people watching us from around. Might have a raid incoming, if that's how that works. Also, I had no idea chains are so expensive. It takes a whole iron ingot to make a single chain? Like, why don't I get like 8 or 6 or something? A whole iron. I'm thinking I'm going to use these in this build. But, oh my god. Oh, that's so expensive. What? Like, you're telling me for every iron I pick up, more than every iron I pick up is going to equal like less than 1 chain is bizarre to me. So I got our blocks here. I got some deep slate bricks. I'm not going to use them starting out, but I might mix them in later. I like to kind of build the shape first and then start mixing in texture. A little bit easier for me because I'm not much of a builder, to be honest. Okay, that is a start. I guess we can have actually one more right here at the base. There we go. Now it looks like it has some support. The original idea with these chains was I was thinking they could go here. But now that I'm looking at it, well, that actually might work. It's just how expensive the chains are. I'm hesitant to use them. Walls might look good. So that also rounds it out. Walls will probably be better. I even thought about putting them in the corners here to round them out. Yeah, I'm thinking I like the walls more. And that's going to save us on these chains. Maybe I'll use the chain somewhere else. Let's see how the walls look. Yeah, I think I'm liking the start of this. I think this is going to kind of decide the theme of the entire build here. Because then we're going to do the same thing and somehow incorporate this idea into the rest of the building. I think I'm liking that. I think that was a better choice than the chains. Now what I want to do is mix in some mossy cobblestone and see how that looks. Oh my goodness. There's more of them. They're watching me. Hey guys, what's going on over here? I don't know why they're here. I haven't touched a village in a long time. Oh, this one got closer to us. Are you the leader? I guess I'll just take you out. Nice. Okay, I'm liking our start. This is definitely starting to look like an old structure that has supports that it needs to do better, stay up and not fall over, like that leaning tower over in Italy. Now what we're going to do is work on this. This is wild to me. Like when I first came on and saw these glass blocks sitting here, I thought that was the most disgusting and ugly thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I remember thinking it was cool too. I actually have memories of looking out this on this world. I was like, wow, look, I have this, I have this here. It's like a bunker. It is the ugliest thing in the world. So we're going to try to round this out maybe a little bit and see what we can do here. There, that's already a little bit better, I would say. We're also going to move this glass in one. Right here. There we go. Look how much better that already looks. Moving that glass in did wonders. Okay, I want to make a few more changes and I'll be right back. You know, there's something other Minecraft YouTubers don't talk about enough, and it is how unbelievably long it can take to do things in survival Minecraft. It is absolutely wild. I've spent a lot of time on this, and there's not even a whole lot done, but I want to reveal it to you guys because I am happy with it for the most part. Voila. There it is. There is the build. I went ahead and did the rest of everything off camera because I really need to lock in. I was having a hard time really figuring out how I wanted to do this without like completely rebuilding it, because I wanted to keep the original theme like we discussed and make it look like we are supporting it because it's old. As you can see here, we have the supports, which I think look pretty cool. And then we even have a little ring around it, or like a square in Minecraft terms. And this is like sitting on top of it. So it's holding it up because it's old and it might fall over, which I think we got that feeling down pretty well. As you can see, I mixed in mossy cobblestone with the regular cobblestone to help add to the aging effect. It would be kind of cool if there was cracked cobblestone or something, but I guess cobblestone already looks kind of cracked to begin with. And I made a double door here and also rounded this out as well and moved in the glass that looks so much better. It really has a very secure feel, which makes sense. First, Minecraft bases tend to be more for security and safety, at least back then when the night was far more scary. And this was my first base I ever made in survival Minecraft so many years ago. And we'll check out the inside in a second, but I did add this pathway that goes out here. I figured this would be kind of cool. Probably will never use it, but if you press this button, it loads up a boat. You can push it out there, right? You can boat around, do your boating things, maybe you can go fishing. Then you can come up here, and if you break it, it will automatically eat it up and put it back in the dispenser. Nice little closed loop system. I moved our quote unquote swimming pool over here. I almost removed it, but I might turn this into a legit swimming pool later. It doesn't really fit the theme of like the whole like stronghold feel, but maybe we'll have this here just for fun, but I'm going to do that later. And also something, I shortened this sand hill, got rid of all the dirt. I also, when we started on this, the sand went up 2 blocks here and here. I decided to just make the sand on the flat surface right here and moved all the dirt down. So now it connects to the sand. It looks like the sand's going under the dirt. I think it looked a lot nicer. It looked kind of messy when the sand was like crawling up the hill. Wasn't really a fan of it. Now let's go check out the inside, which you guys have seen most of it, I think, already. I did add a bubble elevator. Whoa. And one going down as well, because we all know how slow ladders are nowadays. Also over here, I just shrouded this in stone. We haven't done the inside yet. We'll save that for another day, because doing this took quite a while. We're gonna go up. Man, by the way, bubble elevators are so fast. I've never built one before, and my goodness, that's just the coolest thing ever. I started working on the storage room too, the bulk storage room. I plan to have things like cobblestone, dirt, gravel, maybe a bunch of wood. Things that might be useful to have around if we're just doing a drive-by of our transit station here. And I showed you guys this already. We will check it out or test it out here in a second, because I did connect the railroads, and I think this looks so much better, especially from down there. Having all this coming out from one side, not randomly connecting in different areas. I put a blocker here for now because we're saving this for when we have another base to go to, which will probably be that direction. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I put the redstone torches under here because it looks nicer. I plan to eventually maybe swap all these out with levers, and put them under the block because they stand out a little bit less. And add better like lighting sources, but that's going to be its own project altogether. The project became a little bit challenging toward the end because I felt like I was struggling to get blocks. That's a big thing with survival Minecraft that I kind of forget about, is how much work it does to get the resources you need. And you watch these YouTubers that make these like very big, crazy things in hardcore Minecraft or just regular Minecraft, maybe Hermitcraft. And it really puts into perspective when you try it yourself, how much time goes into building those things, mainly because of resource gathering. It is insane. Like this took me a few hours at least, and I was struggling to really get it done because I've been moving and I've had work going on. Oh, it's just wild. But I am proud of it for the time I was able to put into it. It looks pretty good, and it fits the goal we had for the episode today. Along with the terraforming over here, I went around and filled in some creeper holes, age-old, decade-old creeper holes. There might be a few more around, but I think I got the ones near the base. Also, I found this floating tree here. This is probably... Oh, there's another creeper hole here. There we go. This has probably been here since I first created the world. As we all know, cutting down these type of trees suck. And I think what I'm going to do is just put the tree back here and not cut that down, because I'm not going to mess around with that. Or set it on fire. One or the other. But yeah, there it is from above. Overall, I am happy with the base. Now we're going to give it a proper name. I've always called it like the transit station or like a stronghold. But I was actually watching Markiplier play a game recently called The Bunker. And I came on and that name came to my head after watching that as I looked at this. And I think that makes sense because this is a secure, like, first survival base where you're safe underground away from the mobs. I actually was going to build a wall around it too, and I think I am going to do that, but we're going to do it later because I really want to get this episode up, and I haven't had a lot of time to work on it because of life stuff, and I don't want you guys waiting too long. There's always this balance between quality and quantity. Nowadays, YouTube, it's best to have a video up at least once every few weeks, preferably sooner. And we're starting to approach the few weeks mark. And I think the quality of the video is good enough to get it up. And there's also something nice about not finishing everything at once. As you become an adult, you got to realize managing your time is very, very important. And it's okay not to finish things all in one go. If you hyper focus on something, try to get it all done in one shot. Like because I want to have the wall around here. I want to get rid of all the torches and replace it with natural lighting. because I really like having lighting that doesn't use torches because torches are ugly. I want to get the new desert blocks that came out in their most recent update, desert theme stuff, and use it to make this all look really nice. But you gotta take things in chunks. So I think it's healthy to do things as you go. And then you come back with a fresh perspective after so many days or whatever. So I think it's better in the long run. So I will take this down for now. And then we'll add a wall later. There we go. Looks a bit nicer. I think in the future what we're going to do is add a wall and actually remove all the lighting around it. I think it would be really cool for approaching the base and the only lighting you see is from within the wall and like the top part. So it really adds to the stronghold feel. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked. We're going to name of the bunker. I'm just going to put it here. The bunker. Is it CK or K? Don't know. I'm sure you guys will correct me in the comments for those that watch this. So we're going to give this a shot. We're going to head back to the enchantment base. And I got one last thing for us. I actually have a comment of the day here. But let's go ahead and test this out one more time. We can select the enchantment base. Yep, it is turned off still. But once we press this button, it should. Yep, there we go. And then I can go in this. We can hold forward. And we are off. You're normally supposed to hop in it fast. We saw some improvements that need to be made, but that is fine. Doesn't need to be perfect the first time around. We're just going to use this for fun. We'll probably never use it because we have the Elytra. Unless if Mojang makes minecarts faster, like we've been seeing with the experimental snapshots, that would be super cool. Either way, really fun episode. We got the comment of the day here. Now, credit where credit is due. I see this on Ethos Lab. He does a comment of the day, and honestly, it's a really awesome idea. And he's the only Let's Play YouTuber I've seen do this. And I think it's great for a series like this because, because it shows you guys that I actually read the comments. And it makes it clear that your guys' input I do take into consideration, and I appreciate your viewership. So we're going to take a look at this one right here. Oh man, that noise is not okay. Hold on. We'll do it when we get over there. Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. Minecarts are so slow. Okay, minecart sound behind us. Here is the comment of the day, the very first one in this series. This says, the pain I felt when you didn't put the skeletons in boats because you didn't have any name tags. The Wicked Flower. Yep, I had no idea that you could put mobs in boats and they wouldn't despawn. I could have swore they actually did despawn. And I looked it up. I think there was a time when boats didn't prevent them from despawning. Maybe that's why it didn't come to my mind to try it out. It really does suck because those were like bugged out skeletons from like 10 years ago. Oh well though, we will know for next time. Thank you for the comment. I think next episode we're going to work on some farm building. I have some pretty big ideas and some ways to make it really cool and interesting. We need farms in this world because after building that one base, I was simply going around and stripping all my other bases of resources. We are already almost out of everything. And we need farms because I hate going around and manually grabbing everything we need. It literally adds multiple hours to every project, and I don't have time for that. Nor do I like doing it. So we'll probably work on stuff like that next episode. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, you know what to do to support it. Until next time, bye bye.